My name is Antonio Knox, and you are listening to the Gradient Radio. An open space to converse about creativity for creatives by creatives. And today, our guest is building an empire. From directing films like This Is Black and being a VP of operations at Blaze Track. Today, our guest is Ethan Evans.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, bro? What's up, bro?
You make me sound amazing.
I mean, you are amazing, bro. People need to know exactly what you are doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, you just want me to roll and tell them? Or
Yeah. I mean, so, for those people who may not know who Ethan Evans is, could you please let the people know?
Yeah, man. So Ethan Evans is a kid who he never really grew up. You know what I mean? I'm 32 years old, and I'm probably just still 12 years old for
Nice.
And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a father of 5 children. I come from a crazy past. So here's the spill. Whenever I get interviewed, it's always from gangs to entrepreneurship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to kill that narrative because, that was a part of my life in the past. But, you know what I mean? Like, I just did what every little hood street kid did, just was in the streets. Like, You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
Who I am now is, like I said, I'm the kid that before my mind was tainted, like the kid that was playing with bugs and exploring the world and trying to find out what caused water to stream the way it did. Like, you know what I mean? That's who I am now.
Yeah.
And just building empires just comes out of that because if you think about it, like as a kid, you created all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And depending on your upbringing is whether it was cultivated or whether it was destroyed.
Facts.
Like unfortunately my upbringing was I would create something and nobody would pay attention.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, look what I made. And my mama like, that's cool. Get out my face.
Yeah.
But that's who I am. So I own a company called Seventh Level Agency, which is a film production house, a film production company, as well as we just launched a line of watches called Ale Watches, which is French for go forward. I guess you can call me a serial entrepreneur. I've heard people say that before.
Yeah.
I also co-own a platform called the Indie2, which is a platform for film and music. It's a content platform for film and music, similar to YouTube, but primarily for independents.
Yeah.
As well as I am the VP of operations and rev share or equity owner of a company called Blaze Track, which is one of the I think it is the largest. I have to do my research, but I'm pretty sure we are the largest connection platforms. And the way Blaze Track works is it's in the music industry. The way Blaze Track works is you sign up. Let's say you're a music artist, songwriter, producer. You sign up and you purchase credits and you submit to as many professionals in the music industry as you possibly can. So think LinkedIn for music.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So let's say
that's fire.
Yeah, you're a little guy, and I hate using the word little guy. Let's say you're somebody who's starting out and you want somebody to critique your work. Well, you can send them, your music. You can send them a video. You can send them documents. You can send them everything. And they have 30 days to respond back to you via video. These are people like T-Pain, The Game, Antonio Reed, which is L.A. Reid's son. Executives at labels. Like, these are like well-known, strong people in the industry. And the beautiful thing that comes out of that platform is oftentimes opportunities come from that. Because if you submit your music to somebody and they like it, and then you're what they're looking for, then that conversation goes further. And they go, hey, let's work together. Let's send me some more music outside of this platform. Here's my email. Here's my phone number. And now you've gained a connection in the industry, know? So
that's fire.
It's a beautiful platform. It's been around since 2009.
Okay.
I came on board in 2019. So it's been growing ever since. A lot of newer things are coming down the pipeline too. So that's who I am as a person. I'm an entrepreneur. I got a lot of things going. But
Facts. You told so many you told so many things from being let's go back. You are what you said, serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And you have like so many businesses, so many partnerships that you are within. I remember, I think the first time we met in Brewers Cafe.
Yep. Shout out Brewers.
Shout out Brewers Cafe. And I think at the time you were just doing a 7th level.
Yep.
Was it an agency at that time?
It was an agency at that time.
Yeah.
It was a new agency at that time. The company itself wasn't new.
Yeah, okay.
But 7th Level has molded quite a few times. We actually started off as a tech agency.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, because you weren't really doing videos at that time with it.
No.
We
were, but not on a major scale.
Yeah.
Like we were doing videos for technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would, if a client would say, "Hey, we need, we want to sell this on our website," because we were also building websites. So we would come in and we would film for the website. So we were just doing video content primarily for like the landing page of the website, the slider.
Yep.
We were doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't really doing films, commercials.
Yeah.
And then one of my guys got the bright idea. I don't know if you met Daniel Green. He used to come into Brewers with me sometimes, but he got the bright idea. He was like, "Why don't we start doing commercials?" And I was like, "Yo, you smart."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I met you, like, you know what I mean? And I was like, so I would learn from Daniel. Give him his credit too, because Daniel was he was extremely smart. He still is extremely smart. He was a college kid, so he was like all over the place. But I remember sitting down and talking to you, and I was like, "Yo, this dude got it." Like, you know what I mean? And then following your work and like just looking at some of the things that you do. Like I pick up easy. Mm-hmm. I guess I've been blessed with that gift. Like, so if I see something, I can figure out how it's done.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like meeting you, and then like actually, I remember I used to ask you a million questions, and you were calm enough to answer it. You was like, "Yeah, man, like this is how you do it. These are the cameras, this and the third." And then like I would watch your work, and I was like, "How did he do that? All right, let me figure this out." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So shout out to you.
Hey man, I appreciate it. I think knowledge should be shared and not hoarded.
Yeah.
Knowledge should also be free too at the same time. And honestly, like that's the reason for like this platform, is to be able to give that knowledge out for those people who may not have the capital to be able to purchase courses from like people like us. Because I remember when I was 14 and I first started out, the internet wasn't really as popping or prevalent as it is now, and it was really difficult trying to find the proper tutorials for the things that I wanted to be able to implement. And so over the course of the years, when I got to obtain knowledge, or when I got to dealing with like clients, I was like, when people started to come to me for like asking me how to do things, I was like, how did I feel in that moment when I didn't know something? I wish I would have had someone to tell me how to do something, or to show me how to do something. And so like anytime like any person comes to my way and they ask me, they have questions about like anything, whether it's like creative business or just like finances, I'm like, I give it all to them, because we all should be able to succeed, especially us as Black people.
Yes.
We've been held back for so long, and we've been kept out of doors for so long, and these locks have been like locked for us. Is when we get the information, we should be able to give that back to others.
Indeed. I'm the same way, because a lot of us aren't privileged to have the resources readily available as other races are. And I'm definitely a believer in that mindset, because even though we live where we lived, I guess the universe supplied the resources. Like my mom worked at Bank of America. She was there for 46 years. 46, she just retired. She worked at Bank of America. She didn't make a lot of money because she was an African American female trying to work in corporate America. So we had to live where we had to live, and she had to pinch where she had to pinch, and you know what I mean? But the beautiful thing that came out of that is whenever they would have old computers, they would say, "Here, Gail," her name was Gail, say, "Here, Gail, take this home, get rid of them. We're just going to throw them away." You know what I mean? Like, if you want them, you can have them. My mother she was working her way up. She started out as a teller back in I guess, 46 years ago. Like, whatever that was. Yeah. She started out as a bank teller.
Probably like the 1980s.
Yeah. Well, I guess, the 80s. or 70s.
Late 70s.
Late 70s, yeah. Early. So she started out as a bank teller, and then she worked her way up to customer service, and then she ended up getting into the building where all of the technology was housed. And they came to her and said, "Hey, we need somebody to work in this field right here, but it's no extra money. You're just gonna learn a lot." And she was like, "Cool." You know, that's how she gained access to technology. And then whenever they would get rid of the old technology, she would bring it home.
It seems like that was like a butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Right. Like she took an opportunity that wasn't necessarily beneficial to her monetarily. Yeah. But it made impacts on you. It was a small change for her, but it made waves for you to be able to be like where you're at now, right?
Yep.
Would you say?
Yeah, it did. And I mean, eventually for her too. Like, so my mother's intelligent, so she knew eventually that this was gonna pan out good. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was after I was out of the house, and you know what I mean. My mama doing pretty good now. She retired, making 6 figures, and she worked for, I ain't gonna tell her business, but she worked for a lot of money at the Bank of America. She invested in stocks and the whole nine.
Oh, so like, she good.
She good now. You know what I mean? I was like, I joke with her all the time, say, "Mom, why you couldn't have did that?" I left the house at 15. Yeah. You know, I was like, "Mom, why you couldn't have did that when I was 14? Like, I'd have stayed. Like, I'd have been good to go.
I would have been better."
You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's just how the tables turned out. You know what I mean? How they turned, and that had to happen for me to be who I am too. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like she's always been extremely intelligent. She sees things that most don't. Yeah. You know, she's a little left field. Yeah. But she sees things that most don't. Yeah. And so, you know, I think she knew very well what she was doing. She saw technology taking over the world. Yeah. And she said, at least one of my knucklehead sons is going to take this on. Because she gave the opportunity to my brother. My brother was already in the streets selling drugs and stuff like that. He was like, I ain't really trying to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, he was gifted with hardware. So he loved hardware. He would take stuff apart, cars, whatever. But his thing wasn't technology. He was like, nah, I'm gonna stay in the streets. You know what I mean? And then I kind of followed behind him too. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because he would watch me. Like, he was my big brother, so like I was in the streets too. Yeah. But because I would come home and there'd be a computer right there. When I got home, I could get on the computer and, you know, look up how to hack. I could get on the computer and get on AOL and talk to probably, I don't know who they were, but like, you know what I mean?
People who weren't really their age.
Exactly.
Well, what was it? ASL, right?
Yeah. You know, I could get on there and just explore, like, and it opened my mind. I remember being a kid and teaching myself Hebrew. Like, you know what I mean? Because right? Like, because the internet, bro, like, I would get on it, and this is before you had Google. Google wasn't even around yet, bro. You had Yahoo, and you had another search engine. And
I remember Ask Jeeves.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember. But yeah, like, you know, if it wasn't for that, like, none of this would be. So like, I understand that mindset, bro, because I feel like it's my duty. If you come and ask me, I'm gonna tell you everything because I understand, especially if you from the hood, especially if you grew up with me. Yeah. Because I got homies that grew up with me, and they be like, "Yo, how'd you do it?" You know what I mean? But I look at their lives, and their parents didn't necessarily make those decisions, so they didn't have computers in the house. And we all the same age. They didn't have computers in the house. They didn't have barely nothing in the house. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we lived in the same neighborhood and went through the same things and saw the same things. It's just two different life. You know what I mean? When they got home, it was a different life. Yeah. Either their parents was there and they was trying to provide, or it won't nobody there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like I owed it to them too. You know, once I did get my life together, to come back and teach them. You know, and I did with a couple of them. One of them actually was my employee for a while, and now he's branched off. He has his own film company now. Nice. You know, so he's doing pretty good. He's a full-time entrepreneur, and like, he's excited.
That's
like,
fire, bro.
Yeah, his name is Daquan Woody. Okay. We call him Spotter. Nice. Because when he was younger, he used to crawl up the apartment building and do flips off the roof of the apartment building.
Hey, man. Black people are so gifted, bro. Especially when it comes to, I mean, with many things, but like definitely when I see like the flips or like the hood gymnastics. Yep. They crazy with it, bro.
Like, how did you not break your legs, bro?
Some strong bones. Some strong bones. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, we met and you were doing the 7th level agency, and you know, when your homie brought you the idea of like starting videos.
Yeah, damn.
There was a point where I saw like you were just like all technology, and then like it seems like overnight you were just like video.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah.
Video. Like, what was that? From getting that idea, the inception of the idea, to like actually implementing,
Video.
this new course.
So yeah, in the technology world, technology is extremely lucrative. If you're on our side of it, so we were building mobile apps, software, stuff like that. We started getting a lot of, so it was already there. We started getting a lot of people saying, "Hey, can you market this too?" And as an entrepreneur, we're not gonna say no. We're just gonna figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? So then we became a technology and marketing agency, because like they would say, "Hey, can you run ads for us? Can you post social media for us? Can you do this for us? And we'll pay you a little bit extra monthly." And what happened was, we had gained a couple of clients. So by the time I met you, I was a full-time entrepreneur.
Yes. Yep.
And I'll give you that story too. So in the tech world, like I said, this is very lucrative. It's very lucrative. I remember a client signing a check for more than I would make in a year. And that's what allowed me to become an entrepreneur and stay an entrepreneur. And I was just thinking to myself, like, man, this is dope. But the profit margins in technology, when you have an app building company or a software building company, it's not as big as you may think it is. It's like if you get $1 million project, then you're paying out probably $800,000. You know what I'm saying? Because you got developers that are making $140 an hour, $500 an hour, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just ridiculous. So I was already looking for pivots, and I wanted to keep the technology side. But when we started doing web design, like heavy, we started getting clients say, "Hey, can you put a video up here?" And like, I would go in there with my pops. He gave me a little camera that he had. I was like, "Bro," I was like, "Do you have a camera?" Because like, he had a newspaper company. I was like, "Do you have a camera? Like, how you take pictures?" And he was like, "I got this thing," and it just so happened to be a video camera. And he was like, "I don't know how to use it." My pop's 76 years old. Like, so like, he like, "I don't know how to use it. Somebody bought it for me." Like, you know. And so I would use that just to get content, just like little B-roll stuff, to get content that just made sense for the website. So if it was a coffee shop, then I would get like somebody brewing some coffee, and that would be the opening to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Daniel came and he's like, "Yo, I'll help you with that." Because that's all Daniel was supposed to do. Daniel was supposed to come in. I hired him specifically to get higher quality content for websites, and then he was like, "Let's start shooting commercials." And what happened was, me having a mindset that I have, I don't believe in just wasting time. I don't believe, if you got the idea, fucking do the idea. Like, you know what I mean? Just do it. Like, and then figure it out later. Just jump in and you'll figure it out. Like, if you're not meant to figure it out, then you won't figure it out. If you are meant to figure it out, then you will.
Yeah.
But you got to take the leap.
Yeah.
And that's always been my mindset. Again, shout out to my mother, because every time I would be like, "Mom, I'm going to," she'd be like, "Shut up and do it." Like, you know what I mean?
Shut up and do it.
Like, shut up and do it. So that's why it looked like it was so sudden, because the minute he said, "Let's start shooting commercials," I was like, "Bet, let's start shooting commercials." And then I went to my client. I was like, "Y'all need commercials?" And they was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right, Daniel, let's shoot that commercial." Like, you know what I mean? And then, everything else just kind of just transitioned from there. Like, we'll do tech if a company hits us up and say, "Hey, I remember you guys did tech. We got a few $1,000s for you to build this thing." We'll do it because I still have those resources. Vinod is still my business partner, the whole nine. But eventually it got to a point where I was managing that side, and I was like directing the commercials and directing the stuff that we shot. And I realized that was a passion that I had when I was a kid. Like, when I was young, like, I loved movies. I loved film. I didn't play with my toys like normal kids play with their toys. Like, like, I would be in there like setting it up. You know what I mean? All right, action, boom. Now this toy is the main character. He got a whole plot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was doing that as a kid. And I remember, like, my pops is a creative writer. He used to write for Smokey Robinson back in the day, and just, I told you about my pops. He would get me to write stories. Like, whenever I was at his house, I was only at his house during the weekend, because it was that whole type thing. But like, when I was there, he would say, "Why don't you go upstairs and why don't you write stories?" Like, he would say things like, "Oh, you are Evans. Oh, I know you creative. We all are." And it's crazy because we are. Like, all my brothers on that side of the family, they can draw, they can sing, they can write, they can, you know what I mean? Like, my sister was a classical pianist before she died. Like, I'm like, dang, it must be in our blood. Which that's a psychological thing too, by the way. It's a whole psychology behind that. If you tell somebody that's what they are, then that's what they are.
That's what they are, yeah.
You know what I mean? So shout out to him for knowing that. Like,
yeah.
You tell a kid like, oh no, it's in our blood. We all can sing. Then they'll eventually learn how to sing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, shout out to him like for that. But man, I remember like, yo, you used to love doing this. Like as a kid, like you used to I would pick apart movies, and I would as a kid, I'd be sitting there wondering like, how did they do that? Like I remember watching The Matrix for the first time. I'm like, yo, how the fuck did they make this movie? Not knowing nothing about CGI, not, you know what I mean? I was like, how did they do this? I want to learn. Yeah. I need to learn. You know, so it's just kind of it rebirthed a passion that was already there when I was a kid. And like I said earlier, like when I became a full-time entrepreneur, I made it a point to just start to do and have ownership in everything that I love. Like that's another reason I launched a watch company, because like I love watches. Like my brother used to have, he was in the streets. My brother was a drug dealer. He don't care about me putting his business out there because he don't do shit. Like he own dump trucks and everything now. But like he used to have Rollies. Like he had Rolexes and stuff. Like I'm you know, he's 9 years older than me, so I'm in elementary school, you know, stealing his Rolexes and wearing them to school. And like I remember I lost one time, and he was like, "Yo, what happened to my Rolex?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And he was a boxer too, so I was like, "I don't know what happened to it."
You caught them hands, bro?
I ain't because I was like, I ain't never been in your room. I don't go in your room. I don't know what you're talking about. And I just kept eating cereal, like. But I remember the first time he gave me a watch, and I was so excited. You know what I mean? I was like wearing it, and just I don't know, something about watches, you know. So, but anyway, I made it a point to just, you know, have ownership in everything that I love. But to go back to that question, yeah, that's how it just transferred overnight. It's like we just did it. Like I'm like, all right, I got the resource right here in Daniel. Mm-hmm. He's probably got other resources in cameraman if we need that, which he did, because that branched from us shooting commercials and then people saying, well, how do we place these commercials? Mm-hmm. And then I met a guy named Brian Robertson, Marion Marketing in Brewers, and he did media placement. And so then that became another connection. And he's like, oh, I got clients that need commercials, but I can place them on Comcast. I can place them on the places that need to be placed. I can media buy. And I'm like, bet. So then we brought him on as a connection, and he was media buying as we're shooting, and then he was referring people and all kinds of stuff. And then and I'm giving you all the connections. That connection led to somebody saying, hey, can y'all shoot TV shows? Because I got this deal with CW. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, yeah, of course we can. Daniel, you know how to shoot a TV show? This is the first time he ever told me no. He was like, nope. And I was like, you wanted to? And he was like, nope. He was like, but I'll give you the cameras and like you can go to work. Like, so he lent me one of his cameras, and then he hit up this guy Sam Pierzeriak. I can't pronounce this dude's name, but like Sam was a golden gift. Like he came in and was like, oh, I'll help you out. Like I'm in VCU in the arts. Like I'm pretty sure shooting a TV show is similar to the stuff I've already been doing. So he came in and helped out on a couple of shows, and then that's when I ended up hiring Daquan, and because he had just gotten into camera work, and I went and studied, and I was asking you questions, and so it seemed like it was like that, you know, because like the resources were there, and if you got the resources, just do it, like you know, and if you don't have the resources, figure out how to get the resources, and then do it, like
exactly. I think like one of the biggest things that a lot of people can take away from that is to just what you said. What your mom said, shut up and just do it.
Man, that was her favorite thing to say. Like,
shut up and do it.
Like, you remember the Minions, the Despicable Me?
Yes, yeah.
So you remember his mom? And he was like, look, Ma, I made a rocket out of, and she's like, meh.
Yeah.
That's my mama.
Okay.
Look, Ma, I'm going to build the biggest, Yeah. Like, I don't care, do it. You know, it wasn't until recently that my mom started saying, I'm proud of you. You're doing your thing. You know what I mean? Like, because she started seeing some of the results from it. And, like, this was a period, you know, I went through a divorce separation. I had to stay with her. And she saw how busy I was. Like, because I left that house to my ex-wife. My ex-wife has a house. And, like, she saw how busy I was. And she saw some of the money that was coming in. And she was like, oh, you really doing stuff. Like, she was like, I'm proud of you. That's what's up. And when she was like, now, when you get to millions of dollars, now I'll be really proud of you. You know what I mean? Like, she always been a motivator of sorts. Even though we got our weird, crazy relationship, like, we can't stand each other for more than an hour. You know what I mean? We be in there like, nah, I don't want to be around you right now. But she motivated me in ways that, like, she knew would motivate me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a lot like her. My other brother's a lot like her. He's a lot like his pops.
Yeah.
But I'm a lot like her. Because she's who I spent most of my time around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So with your mother having those inspirational tactics to be able to get you to go forward with particular things, to, you know, seeing potential problems within like the things that you were doing, was the inception of Indie2 like a correlation of that, or like an example of like what you saw within like the mainstream?
Yeah, so the inception of Indie2 came from a little bit of that, but primarily my brother, the same brother I'm talking about. He was also a music artist, still is a music artist, and we was sitting at my mother's house because he wanted to meet me there for something completely different, and we was just talking about the music industry, and he was saying that like YouTube, my brother's he's not technology savvy at all. Technical, I can't even talk, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So look, if you can't even talk, you can make it in this industry. So, but like, he wasn't savvy, and so he hated YouTube, and he's like, I don't know how to use it. I don't know why I should use it. It's a bigger platform. All of these big dogs got it on lock, and it's hard for small guys to make it. And he was like, bro, if it was a platform just for indie artists, small artists, that'll be dope. And I was like, yo, that would be dope. You know what I mean? So then I hit my cousin up, who was also the CFO of the label that he was a part of. And I was like, yo, me and Malik just had a dope-ass idea. And he's like, yeah, if y'all can build it out, I'll invest. And I was like, bet. So then I hit up Vinod, like, Vinod, like, this is an idea that we got. And Vinod's like, oh, my goodness, this is a great idea. You know what I mean? And then he gave me the resources to build it out. And so, like, it was almost a matter of weeks when it started being built. Like, we didn't even have a business license or nothing for it. We was just like, fuck it, we want to build it before somebody's, like, because once you put an idea out there, it seems like somebody, if you don't do it in time, somebody else is going to do it.
Yeah, I tell people that, like, ideas are like butterflies. If you don't catch it, then somebody else will.
Exactly. So, like, I started immediately, and I remember coming to my brother, like, 2 weeks later, like, with a prototype. And I was like, yo, check this out. And then he was like, oh, you fucking did it. He didn't even know I was going to do it. He was like, you fucking did it. And I was like, yeah. He was like, oh, we finna be rich. You know what I'm saying? So that was in 2018 when we first built it. It was in 2018. And it grew. So I remember me and my ex-wife went on a trip to Miami in November of 2018. And that's when the beta version was out, but it was like a public beta version. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, anybody can just use it. But I'm going to call it a beta version because I want to see what the kinks are. And the best way to do that is just to have a lot of people use it. And in the technology world, you can pay a lot of people to do that, or you can do that, which is more risky because you run the risk of if there's a lot of bugs, then nobody ever uses your platform again.
Use it, yeah.
But I knew that it wasn't a lot of bugs because, like, my developers are, like, spot on. And so it blew up in 2018 to 40,000 viewers, like, on the platform, because we went to Miami, and we were talking to this girl who worked at Metro PCS in Miami, and we were just my ex-wife just was like, she brought up the platform. Like, she was just like, yo, like, did you tell her about Indie2? Like, you know, because my ex-wife was always reminding me of the things that I did. You know what I mean? And so, have you told her about Indie2? And I was like, nah. So then I show her the platform, this and the third. And then she's like, oh, my cousin would love this platform. So she shows it to her cousin, and her cousin just so happened to be Bad Bunny.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, like, when we got back to Richmond, we sitting there, and every day I'm logging in and refreshing. I'm logging in and refreshing just to see how many people were using it. And, like, it started going up, and it's like at 200, and then it's like 1,000, and it's like 4,000, and it's like 20,000. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, when then my brother called me, like, yo, the platform jumping right now, bro. You got Bad Bunny on that, John. I'm like, who the fuck is Bad Bunny? Like, you know what I mean? So, it got big real quick, and then we got hacked. Yeah, so when we got hacked, the platform was shut down for like 6 months. So we lost a lot of traction. We lost a lot of users. We lost. Matter of fact, Lil Baby signed up before he got. We had 4PF on that motherfucker. Like, yeah, bro. Like, we was growing. Like, we ain't really care. Like, we weren't supposed to have signed artists on there, but I was like, there's so much momentum on this.
For sure,
like,
yeah.
No, you know what I mean? If they want to post their little dudes up, because that's what they was doing. They signed up, had an account, and then they was posting people that we ain't never heard of.
Yeah.
On there, they videos.
Yeah.
And like, bro, we was getting thousands of views, and it was like thousands of people hitting the website, and then we got hacked, and then it was like a bunch of malware stuff happening, and then a bunch of other crazy stuff happening, and we had 6 months of the platform being down, and I guess in that 6 months, people was like, oh well, they shut the joint down, like, you know what I mean? So then we relaunched in 2019, you know, and so now we're gaining traction again, slower, you know what I'm saying? We hit up a couple people that were making moves the last time because we still had a database.
For sure.
But a lot of them didn't hit us back. Only one of them did. And so we was like, fuck, we're just going to keep growing. And, you know, but we've been growing steady now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's been, every day I log on, somebody has signed up. But we realized even with that, like, it was a lot of views coming in, but not a lot of people registering. It was a lot of people hitting the website and using the platform. That's what a user is.
Yeah, yeah.
So we had well over 40,000 users.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But the registrations were a fraction of that.
Mm.
But now we are getting way more registrations. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like equal with the user base. So like the users that are using it are starting to register. So it's like they get on the platform, they look at a couple of videos, and then they register. You know what I mean? So like that's what we needed anyway. So it was almost a blessing in disguise. All that stuff happened.
Yep.
But it was just dope to see that the concept was what was needed. You know what I mean? Like, because they hopped on it, and if it wasn't for that girl, I don't even know her name. I don't remember what she looked. I do remember she looked like. She was beautiful. But like, I was married, so I didn't say that. Like, but like, it's like, shout out to her. You know what I mean? Like, I just remember it clear as day, man. We was on the plane, and like the number was jumping, and we landed. Came back to Richmond, the numbers was jumping. I was like, yo, this y'all working.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so that was like my first self-funded platform that worked. You know, because I don't know if you remember the Partey app.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so we launched something called.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking. Yep.
So we launched the Partey app.
Yep.
And then something similar happened with that, but then COVID. It was just COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
COVID shut down all the parties.
There's no parties going on. Yeah.
But we're about to relaunch it.
Okay.
Because they legalized marijuana. So marijuana parties and like all this, and then the parties are coming back.
Yeah.
You know, we gained a silent headphone partner. The guys that are throwing the silent headphone parties around Richmond, like they know about the Partey app and waiting for us to relaunch all kinds of stuff. So
yeah. I hear all the time that like you only need one chance. It only takes one time just to be right. You only need to be right once. You'll need to be right once, and it seems like you are putting your eggs in so many baskets that like eventually one of these things are gonna pop and you're gonna be like a billionaire like in no time.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Do you look at it like that?
No, I just look at it as I'm creating whatever ideas come. Like you said, I think I'm an idea hoarder. Like I don't want that butterfly to go nowhere else and land on like somebody that's right beside me, and I'd be like, fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Thanks. I want that idea to be created by me, like because I had it. So obviously if it was given to me in my brain, then I need to do it. Yeah. Now it's been tons of ideas that come and I can't do anything with. I don't have the resource, or I don't have a desire to. I can't say can't because you know you can do anything, but I don't have the desire to do anything with it. Yeah. You know, just being real. Yeah. You know, if you ever say can't, that's a lie. It's just you don't want to. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not that you can't do it; you just don't want to do it. Yeah. So don't get me wrong. There's a lot of ideas that I do have, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do nothing with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Let somebody else have that one. Yeah. But the ones that I feel are just connected to me because I also like partying, but I'm an introvert.
I can't see that, bro. But I hear some of the people that I see who say they are introverts. From my perspective, I don't look at them as being introverts. Yeah. Because I know personally I'm an introvert, and some people look at me like you're not an introvert because you do like so many things. Yeah. But like I don't know, bro. Like,
well, when you're an entrepreneur, you force yourself to be extroverted.
yeah, you got to be out there. You got to put yourself out there.
Exactly. But naturally, like I said, I'm a tech head. Like, naturally, I want to be in front of a computer, locked in a dark room, making millions of dollars, and no one ever see me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
if I could do that, like, that'll be the life.
That's the goal, right?
I like Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like, be in my lair, come out when I want to, driving a fancy car, and people be like, "Who is that?"
Who is that?
And
It's Batman.
yeah. I'm gonna say that. Hey, look, when that happens, I'm gonna say that. Who are you? I'm Batman. But yeah, bro, like real talk.
Yeah. Nah, I definitely want to be in the same position, but I realized to be able to get to that point, I had to put myself out there first.
Yep.
And then I could kind of be reclusive later down the line once I got like the millions or billions, and I could just kind of like go off to the private island and just kind of like live the life that I want to live. But in order to start making the money that I necessarily want to make, I have to put myself out there first, or just put my ideas out there first, so people can physically see like who is the person behind that.
Yep.
So I get that, bro.
I once talking about money. I once had a mentor of mine say, it only takes $250,000 of profit to change your life.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, people think that you got to make millions of dollars, like, and have it in the bank. No, you have to make make $1 million company so you can gain that profit to change your life. Like, because on paper, you have $1 million company, you're a multimillionaire, you're a millionaire. But the profit from $1 million company, even if you did 20%, you know what I mean? That's $200,000.
Yeah.
That's really all you need.
Yeah.
That's about a little bit less than $20,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't live off of $20,000 a month, then you have a very big problem.
That's a lot of money.
You have a very big problem. You know what I mean? So like,
What is that like? That's $240 a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you know, that mentor has done that time and time. He's a multimillionaire. He's done that time and time again. But he said at $250,000, like, that's when his life changed, and he could afford things that he could, like, this is money coming in that you can use, not money coming in for the business.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. Like, you hear somebody say, yeah, I made $250,000 last year. Did you make $250,000?
Business
or did
made
the
$250,000.
business make $250,000? Because if the business made $250,000, being a business owner that has done that before, you pretty much only made $50,000.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it real with you.
Yeah.
Unless you got some kind of high profit, you know, low expense company, which you can do that,
Yeah.
then, you know.
Yeah.
But even at 40% of $250,000, like, you made $250,000 and you do 40% of that, it's still, people make that all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, it's I think it really depends on like how you manage your money.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you manage your money, how you invest the money.
Are you in the clubs, buying bottles, you know?
Yeah.
Or you taking stupid trips like me and my ex-wife did when our business made $250,000 because we got we was doing everything, and like everything that we probably definitely shouldn't have been doing.
I mean, you learn from it, bro.
Yeah.
And so the next time I don't know if you made $1 million yet, but the first time you make $1 million,
No, I haven't made
that's
money
like the first time you make $1 million, not your business make $1 million.
But
The first time you make $1 million, you'll know how to manage that money better, because you have the experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Finances are important, man.
Absolutely. So going from Indie2, going into starting to make commercials, just videos, and then Indie2, then you really got super heavily into like directing and making films. And what was that process like?
Man, that's when the bug, like, so when I created the platform and I started having people post their content on the platform, and like, you know, and I told you again, following your work and then seeing other creatives in the city, I'm like, yo, I can do that too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I tell people all the time, anybody can do what I do.
Yeah, it's like I can do that too. And it's not even that type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, it's more so a motivating factor.
Yeah.
It's like, I know these people personally. They may even be willing to help me out on my first film.
Yep.
So then you start to convince yourself, like, all right, well, what does it take to make a major film? Like, or what does it take to make a film, period?
Yeah.
You know, and then I went in and started doing the research on that. and realized that it wasn't too much difference from shooting commercials and directing commercials. You had the storyboard, you had the scripted out, you had the, you know what I mean?
It's just a lot more work.
It's a lot more work.
It's a lot more work.
A whole lot more work. When it comes down, I remember the first episodic. You remember Peace Is, the one I did?
Yep.
That was on Prime?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't realize what the hell I was getting myself into.
That was a little bit of a humble brag. That was on Prime?
But like I didn't realize what I was getting myself into, man. And that was a blessing in disguise as well, because everybody on that project just wanted to be a part of it. And they was like, and me, I don't believe in leaving people empty handed. You know what I'm saying? It was, as far as the opportunity, I'm like, whatever comes from this, y'all get 10% regardless. I'm not going to tell y'all to work for me for free. I'm going to give y'all equity in this whole project. You know what I'm saying? So like, but everybody from the lead actress and the lead actor I grew up with around Northside. Like, I grew up with him. You know what I mean? Like, and we weren't cool, but we was in the same circles. And I remember him coming to me and he was like, yo, I just need to break into acting, and I heard this about this script that you got. Like, I just need to be on this. And so because his hunger and his ambition, I was like, you got it, bro. Yeah. And you came from the North, and you know my people, and you know what I mean? Like, so he had it. But it's a lot more work, man, from especially when you don't have a major crew. Mm-hmm. It was me and Will Roy. Shout out Will Roy. Like, he was my assistant director on that project.
He has an agency, like 123.
123 agency. Yeah. It's funny because I always joke with him. I was like, I got 7th level and you got 1, 2, 3. Like, somebody need the 4, 5, and 6. So hey, look, somebody create 4, 5, 6 agency, and then we all come together and it just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
numbers.
But yeah, like, it was just me and him. And we had never done anything like it. You know what I mean? So the actors were fairly new. Trifina has been on a lot. Trifina's been on Netflix movies. She's been on BET. She's got booked for a lot of stuff. So she was the only one that was more knowledgeable about the film world than we were. We just knew that we could film it and it'll look good. Like, you know what I mean? The script was written out by me. The script was written out by me. I actually started writing it first as a book because my ex-wife was into writing books, and to support her, I started writing a fiction book. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I just turned that into a movie script style. Mm-hmm. But it's a lot of work, bro. The stuff that went into it, like sourcing the spots and, like, the time and coordinating people's schedules, and then you got to shoot the damn thing, and then, like, on top of that, then you got to worry about the sound, and we didn't have a sound dude at first. Then we found a sound dude, and then, like, you got to worry about permits that we skipped out on. It was like, we're not shutting down no streets for this. Like, so then we had to go navigate around people just walking into your shot, you know, and make it look as natural as possible. And it was a lot of work that went into that, bro. Yeah. Like, it was a lot of work. To get 2 episodes, it took almost a year. Like, we was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's because y'all were. It was a small team, but the small team was doing everything, which would be delegated to so many more other people.
I mean, I remember my first time on a big set, and I'm like, yo, what does this person do? And it was like, oh, they just get the coffee.
Yeah. It's a person for that.
I'm like, for real? They just get the coffee? I was like, dang. It was like, and then what is this person? Oh, they're just here to make sure you're comfortable. Like, I'm like, for real? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. We had none of that. Like, Will was cooking breakfast for us in the morning, like, before we would start filming. And then also that created a lot of lag time too. That's what I call it, lag time, where you just like bullshitting around. Like, everybody's excited to film, but like Will cooking breakfast and we drinking wine and liquor and stuff like that. And then, because we all cool at this point. Yeah. So then we drag the day out, you know what I mean, and lose daylight. Yeah. That happens. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you put people in place so that shit don't happen either. Yeah. You know, but then just having a lot of ideas, and just people on set are there for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, there's a director, then there's an assistant director, and then there's an assistant to the assistant director. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Why? Because you got to have somebody in place to be like, you need to shut the fuck up and let the director do what he does. You need to be over there making sure that cameras 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are good.
It's rolling.
You need to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so we was just over. I remember there was times where we thought we pressed the record button and didn't press the record button, like, because we over here making sure that we coaching them the way that we need the shot to be,
Yeah.
and then we're just gonna let it roll. You know, that's what we thought in our heads. We just let the camera roll,
Yeah.
like, but we really didn't let the camera roll.
No.
So we went through the whole scene and nothing got filmed. You know what I mean? So it was a lot, bro. Like,
Yeah, I remember the second time shooting one of these things. That camera right over there died midway, and I didn't realize until like 30 minutes. 30
Yeah.
minutes after, I was like, bruh.
yeah,
And he was dropping gems.
yeah.
So like we have the whole audio, obviously, but like 30 minutes of the video content is just like
Gone.
non-existent.
Yep. Yep.
I was like, dang,
I remember
bro.
the first time we shot a TV show. It was a TV show that was on CW. Like, we had to go back to the restaurant and refilm it because we set a camera up. So the kitchen and cooking shows, like, it's not a lot of space in the kitchen to film a lot. So you have 2 cameras, but you got to be creative on where you put them.
Yeah.
Like, I give it up to the people that be in there with red cameras, bro.
And big cameras, bro.
I'm like,
Big
how?
heavy cameras.
I'm like, how, bro? First of all, it's hot in here
Yes.
because they cooking.
Yeah.
Second of all,
Stay out the kitchen.
yeah, right. Second of all, it's like that much space. So like we had put a camera up on top of like the vent system. You know what I mean? And then, you know, because we had audio and stuff like that. So put it up on top of the vent system, and Daquan had got up there and he hit record, and then his camera, the type of camera he had, like when it, for some reason it would cut off when it was like not film, when there was too much film going on. It was a Canon, an older one.
Yep.
And so like when a lot of filming was going on, it would just stop filming, and he would have to press the button again.
Yeah, I think it would only do like 30 minutes or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And we didn't realize how long the scene like that.
The scene was.
Yeah. And so that was a bad one. That was a bad one because I remember the chef didn't even want to do it in the first place.
Yeah. And so to ask him again,
He was like, "So I gotta cook the meal again?" Like, it's like, yeah, you do.
yeah,
But yeah, bro, that's how I got, like, having the platform and then just seeing a bunch of people doing what, you know, things that I knew that I could do and I always wanted to do, and just having the resources again.
yeah,
The common theme is you got the resources.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're all around you. Resources are all around you.
Especially in America.
Yeah, we don't live in the third world, bro. It's people in. You see? Have you ever seen them the films, like the African dudes? Like, they just be remaking shots and stuff like that, and like they don't even have half the resources that we have.
Nah. And one of the previous episodes, I spoke about like how limitation breeds creativity.
Yeah.
If you have we all have like limitations to a certain extent, but like if within those limitations you can find so much creativity if you look at it from a different perspective.
That's very true. That's very true. Because our brains are crowded. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Life stuff. That we're barely thinking of creative stuff. You know, and when we do, it's through the lens. It's through a foggy lens.
Yeah.
Because we have so many resources and so many. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing this, hearing this guy talk. Or he was a film dude, and like everybody's questions were the same. Nobody was asking him about his creative side. Everybody was like, "What kind of camera do you use?" You know what I mean? Like,
it's always that question.
What's the camera? Why do you use this camera? You know what I mean? What system do you use for editing? I was like, why do 4 people ask the same question?
Same question, yep.
You know, no one asked him what inspired this film. Like, how did you create this shot? Like, certain, you know what I mean? Like, how did you do certain aspects of this? You know, but people get so caught because we have so many things at our fingertips. People, and there's nothing wrong with asking about equipment, but it's like, at the end of the day, we learned this on a set of pieces. Will forgot to bring his Sony, so we had to shoot with a T3, T3i.
Yeah.
And
my first camera.
Yeah, and that shot was dope. That was people's favorite shot. Like, we got somebody to color grade it up, you know what I mean? And that shot was just dope as hell because we knew the look that we were going for.
Yeah.
And so, like, the camera doesn't matter, bro. That led me to research, like, how many movies have been shot with Canons? And I researched that, and this movie's on Netflix that we all know and love that have been shot with low-budget cameras. And you don't even know it's a low-budget film because they know the angles, they know what they want, they have a creative brain, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, but yeah, that's how I got into that. Like, I started seeing stuff, and I was like, I could do that.
So what inspired This Is Black?
Oh man, shout out B Love, man.
Did you catch that question? Did you catch it? I said, what inspired?
Yeah. That's why I said, oh man. Well, yeah, shout out Brandon Love, man, B Love. So what inspired it was I was sitting in front of Brewers again. AJ, I probably owe AJ probably like at least $100,000. Like
from all the connections you made.
Yeah.
But also he followed his idea too. Like, he had an idea for something, he just kind of like went at it.
He does it, bro.
Yeah.
And we work a lot together on stuff too. Like, you know what I mean? So again, shout out to him. But yeah, I'm sitting in front of Brewers, and all of the stuff around us was happening. Like, you know, people was getting shot by the police left and right, and you know, a lot of people were starting to create things with the same narrative, which was not necessarily a negative narrative, but a factual narrative. Is a narrative of what we already see. And there's nothing wrong with that, but when you start having so much of it, it gets depressing. And so, like, I'm in front of Brewers having a conversation with dude, I can't remember the dude's name. I just know he owns a studio around Richmond, and I will always see him in Brewers. And we all knew B Love. And so I was having a conversation with him about us as a people, and my viewpoint was a little negative at the time. Like, you know, like, bro, like, we're going through so much again, and this is happening again, and like, when is this gonna stop? And like, you know, it's pissing me off, and like, I want to go out here and murder somebody, like, you know what I mean? And he looked at me, and he was like, brother, you looking at it all wrong. And he was like, why don't you look at it through the lens of us as black people are dealt way more fucked up cards, but we're always still neck and neck with everybody else. How powerful of a person do you have to be dealt less, but still be neck and neck with the best? You see what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. Like, in America, at least, we are dealt a fucked up hand as black people. You know what I mean? Like, but we still are necking. Like, look at you in this space with all these white people, bro. You know what I'm saying? As we walk by, I don't care if they're here. Like, Look at you in this space with all of them. Like, you are neck and neck, if not above a lot of these people in here. And the hand that you're dealt as a black person is just inevitably less. So he was like, you know, he gave me that perspective, and then he was like, come on, like, I got to go film B Love do this meditation session on Broad Rock. And if you're familiar with Richmond, Broad Rock is the hood, bro. Like, so I'm like, meditation session on Broad Rock. I didn't even know B Love did that. I knew B Love for spoken word, but I didn't know he was leading a meditation session.
Yep.
And at the time, B Love was like 22.
Yeah, super young.
He was super young, bro. And I'm like, yo. So I go. I'm not really into meditation of that sort, but I sat on a rock. I looked at B Love, and he started the meditation session, and the dude was filming him, and it's a bunch of beautiful black people sitting in the middle of Broad Rock, a garden in Broad Rock, surrounded by crackheads, whores, people on the corner. It's so much of us going on. The cards that we dealt versus the cards that we decide to play. You know what I mean? Like, and in my head, I'm like, this right here is black. Like, this is black. Everything about this is black. The meditation, the young dude who looked like he should be standing on the corner somewhere with a pistol strapped to him, you know what I mean, is leading the meditation sessions, dreads hanging in his face. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a bunch of other beautiful black people sitting in the middle of the hood meditating, and you got people on each sides of that just watching it, you know, but they got their life stuff going on. Like, it was just so much hitting me at one time. I'm like, this right here is black. All of it. You know what I mean? And so, like, when he finished the meditation session, I was like, yo, why don't we ever talk about just black people as a whole? Why do we always have to have a narrative? Why does it always have to be like we need to advocate? Why not just let black people share their black experience, period, good or bad? Because some people haven't gone through what other people have. Some people have never experienced racism in America. You know what I mean? They know that it's out there. They've never experienced it themselves.
Yeah.
But they've experienced other things in their life that you may not have known about that also make up the black community. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I went to B-Love. I'm like, yo, we should do that. And he was like, I'm down. And I was like, you want to be the first one? And he was like, yup. And I said, when you free? He was like, tomorrow. And I was like, all right, bet. And that's how This Is Black came. It was just supposed to be, it's spur of the moment.
Yeah.
Like, and after I interviewed him the next day, he was like, yo, somebody else want to be a part of it. And then people started hearing about it. And then, like, people was asking, can they be on it? And then one of the girls, Ayana, during his interview, 2 girls skate past, right? And they end up stopping and going, what are y'all doing? And I told them what we were doing. And one of the girls was like, oh, you should do it. She pointed to the girl, Ayana, who ended up being, like, the 3rd or 4th person in the documentary. And, like, Ayana's story is dope as hell. Like, she's a light-skinned girl from St. Louis, grew up in the hood over there. But she loves skateboarding, and she loves listening to rock music, and she loves painting, and she loves, you know what I mean? Like, it's things that you just no one talks about.
Yeah.
The beauty of us as a people, you know, is everything.
Yeah.
We embody everything.
Yeah.
At least in America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what inspired This Is Black, is just being at that meditation session, and then me having my own background and knowing what Broad Rock was known for. You know, especially that area that he was doing a meditation session in, bro. There was so many people that got killed over there. So much drugs over there. Like, the corner store right beside him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as we doing a meditation session, there's a lady in the back. You can't see. You couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, from the meditation session, you couldn't see her, but I could see her hitting the pipe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all around. Like, that neighborhood is being gentrified now. It's being built up. But, like, yeah, man, that's what inspired it. And, like, that has taken off so much more than I thought it would. Like, and it was just one of them spur of the moment things. It wasn't something we were like, we need to make some money. We're going to create this. Mm-hmm. It was like, nah, we just want to create this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's all. We just want to create it because it's something we want to do.
Yeah.
And again, it was one of those things where nobody asked for money. Nobody, people have offered to fund, and people have funded. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though we didn't need it, we told them, like, we don't really need money because we're doing it now. And it's like, hey, it's $100.
Yeah.
We love the project. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
yeah.
like, oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
So that's what inspired it, bro.
Yeah. What are the desires that you have within your heart, or the things that you want for the next 3 to 8 years?
That's a difficult question. How long are you trying to have this thing? So one of my immediate desires, as far as business is concerned, is to fund a major project, like to have a major project under my belt, like something that makes it to Netflix, something that makes it big, whether it be docu-style or fictional. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what it is. I just want something to make it there within the next 3 to 5 years. That's my most immediate desire, especially in the film world. And then outside of that, to be completely honest with you, is to continue to find peace, because I haven't found it yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what that looks like. And that's a depressing topic, but, like, to find peace, like to find a level of life where the things that come to you aren't as drastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I know some of the stories that we spoke about before, so I understand a little bit of.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, those right now, that's my focus. Make something big. I mean, of course, like the watches and stuff like that. The businesses to work. That's a cliche answer. I want my businesses to work to 3 to 5 years. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be da-da-da. Yeah, no, I want a big project on Netflix, and I want peace to the next 3 to 5 years. And if the universe don't give it to me in 5 years, no, I'm joking.
Yeah. I understand, bro. So typically we like to end the radio show with a final word for people to leave with. You know, amongst this conversation, you've dropped so many gems. What would be the last gem that you would leave people off with?
The last gem, I want to say, like, shut up and do it, but
Go ahead and say that, bro.
y'all done heard me say that.
Say it, bro.
The last gem I want to leave y'all with is shut up and do it. Stop talking about it. There you go.
Hey, man, Ethan, it was a pleasure, you taking some time to come out and us having this dialogue together, allowing people to get to know you more, understanding the philosophies behind like your ideas and, from the success that you've garnered thus far and where you will go to in the future. Thank you for taking the time for this.
I appreciate you having me on it.
Yeah.
Like I told you, you've been like a mentor of sorts. You know what I mean? Like Brewers mentor. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Sending Brewers and I'm bugging you, bro. Like, I know you gotta get this work done. I know you editing right now, but
it's all good.
What
bro.
about this?
It's all good, bro. Like I said, like if I also had that too, when I was younger, it would have been so much more beneficial in getting to like where eventually I'm probably going to.
Yeah.
So it's all good, bro.
Facts.
Anytime, really.
Facts.
So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everyone who took the time to listen to this radio show, and or watch it for those who are watching right now. My name is Antonio Knox. This is Ethan Evans, and this was The Gradient.
Now stay tuned for The Gradient After Hours.